Kate, and this is my podcast. And can I start off by saying I am so sorry that we are 2 hours late. You can blame that on me. I broke my ribs a couple of days ago, and apparently my mind was broken as well. And I thought that the podcast was going to be 8 o'clock Central Time. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Today, I have with me somebody I had to wake up. Hello, Rob.
Hello, everyone.
Rob was ready to go 2 hours ago. He's professional, unlike myself. So today we are going to talk about witches and the way witches are portrayed in movies. We're not going to talk about, we're going to mention, a little bit about how witches are not how they're portrayed in movies. But mostly it's going to be about witches and how they're portrayed in movies and the scary kind, which I like very much. Before we get started, I want to tell everybody that we are going to be celebrating the 31 days of Halloween starting October 1st. And it's going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to have special guests. I just did an interview last night with Diabolical Witness, and you guys are going to want to hear it. He is a ghost hunter, and his experiences will give you nightmares. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do excerpts from famous, long dead authors that we have not forgotten, like Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's going to be good. Bram Stoker. You guys, it doesn't get better than that. And, of course, I'll have my regular stories that I always do. But we're going to have a lot of surprises, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a special podcast between Jeremy and Rob. And I'm going to have a special guest do a podcast with me. And we're going to talk about horrific, violent serial killers that you've never heard of. And I know it sounds weird, but it's going to be fun. So, Rob, hello.
Yes. Hi, are you okay?
No, I have broken ribs.
Yes.
And I'm fuzzy in the brain, apparently. Other than that, I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay now. I'm awake. I'm awake now.
Well, since you got a nap, you won't fall asleep during the podcast. So, see, I did you a favor. See?
Yeah, I feel really, really like I've had a favour done to me at the moment. I feel like I've had something done to me. I don't know about a favour, but
Oh God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. All right.
The worst part is I was just completely asking you what was going on, and you just completely didn't know what I was talking about.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah, I thought we was live in the podcast. I don't know what's going on. I thought.
I know. You're like, what's happening? What's wrong? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Are we in the podcast? No, we're doing what we do all the time. We're calling you first. You're like, was this not supposed to happen 2 hours ago? Oh no. Oh, apparently Jory texted moderator Maya and you tried to get a hold of me. And
You get my message?
Rob, I was asleep.
At 12:05.
Your time.
Yeah.
I was asleep, Rob.
Okay.
Oh God. I'm so sorry. This is not one of my better moments. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and do the opening, Rob?
Yeah, I'll do it, yeah. Okay, everybody. Are you going to stop laughing? Because it's really putting me off.
I'm so sorry. I just feel so embarrassed. Fire me. Somebody should fire me.
Please don't laugh at me.
I'm not. I won't. You act like you're afraid of me.
Right. I'm going to start.
All right.
Okay. I've done a list of just a few of the films that feature or are about witches. And believe me, there are hundreds of films about witches, of which we have talked and whittled it down to this little list. Now, the first film is The Conjuring, which is quite a new film. Then the second film is Hansel and Gretel. It's the newer one, not the really old film. The Last Witch Hunter, starring Vin Diesel. Drag Me to Hell, which Tracy hasn't seen.
No, but I've lived it.
Yeah, tonight.
Yes.
Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman. And Ron Perlman, everybody knows Ron Perlman because he played Hellboy.
I love Ron Perlman.
Yeah. And probably the worst two films ever made about anything. Blair Witch, which was crap. And then just to ice a crap cake, they made a new one, which was even worse than the first one. So
it was bloody shite.
It was shy, yeah. Oh God! And everybody said how scary it was. Yeah.
It was scary when you thought about the fact that you just paid to watch it.
Yeah.
You couldn't get those 2 hours back of your life.
People were putting it up there with like The Exorcist and everything.
Oh no.
And it was.
When we get to that part, I'll tell you what they did that was great. When we get to talking about the movies, I'll tell you what I thought they did that was utterly fantastic, and it had nothing to do with the movie. But go ahead.
And a group of films that all of Tracy's family think are brilliant. Harry Potter.
Yes.
Which I think is all the crap. Hocus Pocus, which
love it.
Is a load of crap.
Oh.
Snow White and the Huntsman, which I thought was really, really good.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
The Covenant, which I tried to watch yesterday, which isn't very good. Practical Magic, which you absolutely love.
Yes.
And I've only watched the first beginning of the film about 4 times because it keeps breaking on me. The Skeleton Key with is it Kate Hudson?
Yes.
It's a good film set in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really good. Sleepy Hollow, not the series that was on, the film with Johnny Depp, which is a bit crap to be honest. Rosemary's Baby, the original, which was really, really good, and made a new.
Was that Mia Farrow that was in Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah, Mia Farrow was in the original, and I don't know who was in the remake. It was the girl in it. She was a black girl. I don't think she was a really famous actress, but it was.
I'll look it up.
It was quite good, and the Bone of Contention, The Wizard of Bloody Oz.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. It's the original Scary Witch.
Scary?
Yes. Did you not watch it as a child?
No, I didn't. We had other things to do on a Christmas day other than We had to go out and shoot and hunt a turkey.
Did you? Seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We used to have turkeys running free around the streets of Manchester. We had to go and catch one.
really? Huh.
No,
It
Tracy,
was it was Zoe it was Zoe Saldana. She's famous. She,
it was
you
who?
know, it was Zoe Saldana who
Was
played
it?
in. Yes,
Well, she
you're
must be
right.
really young.
She is beautiful.
She's she must be very young. It must have been one of her first films, that.
It was in 2014.
Well, not that long ago.
Oh,
Wow. I thought it had a bit of the new one had a bit of a dodgy ending, though. It didn't really make sense.
oh, I've never seen it.
It's worth watching.
Okay.
Right. Can I carry on with my intro now?
Yes, Dad.
Okay. From the early days of the movie industry, audiences have been fascinated with all things witchy and witchcrafty. Witchcrafty. I think I made that word up. But anyway. But has Hollywood given witches and witchcraft a bad name? That's what we're going to try and find out today or tonight or whatever time it is. We have all heard about the Salem witch trials in 1692 and 1693, when more than 200 men, women, and children were accused of practicing witchcraft, especially women. Now, because of the movies that I've seen and the stuff that I've read, I thought that it would be more than 200, but it was only 200 that were accused. You get the idea that it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but it was just I suppose 200 is 200.
Well, there were witch trials though in several countries: Germany, in Britain, the United States. Several countries had. France had witch trials, so I think that the number was actually quite a bit larger than that. If you were to take into account every country's trials of witches, because it was described as a hysteria.
Well, there was only to do with the Salem witch trials.
Right. Yeah.
There were only, and I say only, 20 people actually executed for being
Yeah.
a
Isn't
witch.
that strange? It feels like
I
we
would,
hear about so many more.
yeah, I thought it would have been more than that, but I think it's just because we hear so much about the witch trials. And were the witch trials anywhere else in America other than Salem, or was Salem the only one? Is it just the most
I
famous?
believe it was Salem, just Salem. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was just Salem, that part of the country.
Now, I need to talk about you for a second,
Let's do.
and I will read it as I wrote it. Now, my good friend Tracy has, has introduced me to a term that I don't think we have in the UK: kitchen witches.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what if some of the 200 people accused of just being witches were just really kitchen witches, just trying to help their community and help with medicine and things like that?
Yeah. What are kitchen witches?
Pardon?
What are kitchen witches for people who don't know what a kitchen witch is?
Well, I'll let you explain because
Okay.
you
So,
told.
okay. So, kitchen witches, basically, and I happen to know, strangely enough, several people, women mostly, that consider themselves to be kitchen witches. And it is basically that they use herbal medications to heal most sicknesses. They have items hanging in their house like a fertility doll or something, like it's made out of like straw or something if they're trying to get pregnant. They are basically just people who think that nature can help take care of nature. So they oftentimes grow their own gardens to have their own food, and then they will bless their own food and grow their own herbs and spices and remedies to help with different illnesses. So um, any apothecary that carries the exact same things a kitchen witch will do in her house. So I actually practice a lot of those things myself as far as herbal remedies and trying to use natural substances to cure illnesses so that my children weren't overexposed to things like antibiotics and hopefully don't become resistant. So that's what a kitchen witch is, just somebody who's a healer, sort of. Well, maybe not to everybody, but to their family and themselves and sometimes to other people. So
Is it, do you know at the beginning of Practical Magic,
yes.
do you think that a lot of the people that were accused of witches were obviously doing being like a kitchen witch?
Yes,
But
it's very possible.
a lot of it was just jealousy and just.
Well, a lot of midwives were accused of being kitchen witches or being accused of being witches. So midwives were practicing healing in herbal remedies and, helping with birthing and such. And if something went wrong with a birth, then they were accused of being a witch.
You would have ended up with a situation where people would want to be midwives and doctors and things like that in the what year are we talking about? In the 1600s. It must have been a terrible time to live.
Right. And imagine that if you're giving birth to a baby, you're going to want the midwife there. But then again, there's such a fear that these midwives were witches. Let's add on a little bit more stress to birth while we're at it. And then if anything goes wrong, then she's a witch. If I was a midwife at those times, I think I would have said, "You're on your own." And by the way, we are having a horrible storm here, so if you hear the scary wind howling in the background, that's real.
I'm not laughing because we're having a storm. I'm just laughing at the idea of the background noise.
I know, it's perfect. I'm going to see a witch fly by my window any moment now. So
you know what? One of the things that I just don't understand is the fact that during the time of the Salem witch trials, 1600s and even the 17 and 1800s, it was a lot of children died in during childbirth, and a lot of the mothers died in childbirth as well, while they were trying to give birth.
Right.
So, do you think that some of these healers or kitchen witches or whatever term you want to use, could they have been blamed, do you think, for maybe if a baby was born deformed? Or
yes, they absolutely were. Yes. Yes, yeah. If a child was born with a third nipple or a sixth finger, even today people believe that people are born who have a sixth finger, which isn't really a legit finger, it's just a little nub. They believe that's a mark of a witch.
It's a bit cutting off your nose to spite your face, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Can I tell you a piece of trivia about how often babies died in childbirth and women died in childbirth? A lot of women would die in childbirth, but the baby would survive. Can I give you guys a bit of trivia about that?
Okay, push go.
Okay, the term "born with a silver spoon in your mouth" This is what that means. So, during the Civil War, women were married and they had a dowry. So the richer you were, the bigger your dowry. Well, when a woman became pregnant, and oftentimes these were 15-year-old brides, when a woman became pregnant, the odds were against them that they were going to live through the birth of a child. So they would take the silver from their dowry and they would melt it down into silver spoons so that if the baby was left alive, but the mother was dead, and the father was to remarry, the silver would belong to the child so that they would have their own wealth and wouldn't have to rely on the father who perhaps married a woman who wouldn't care about the child as much as their own child. And that's why we say being born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just you thought you wouldn't learn anything.
See? See? I woke you up just to teach you a little something. Okay, so let's get into these witches.
Right, the first one we're going to talk about, if it's okay with you, is The Conjuring, which we both see, and it's a brilliant. I think everybody's got to admit I think it's changed. I think The Conjuring has changed horror films because since then, obviously we've had The Conjuring 2. We're waiting on The Conjuring 3, was coming out in 2019. And we've had the Annabelle films and Annabelle Creation.
Right.
And
The Nun is coming out.
The Nun is coming out, which is linked to, it's like supposedly like a prequel to everything that's gone on before. Well, I've heard there about nuns, aren't they? But well,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really like. It's really when I first thought about The Conjuring, I didn't actually remember that there was a witch. That was the actual witch was hung from the tree. If you remember,
Bathsheba.
Yeah, because she could see it. It was supposed to be Lorraine Warren, wasn't it?
Yes. That could see the witch.
Yeah, that was hanged out. That was one of the. I think that was one of the most scary parts of the film.
That I agree. And it's a true story about Bathsheba. That was a true story. She lived on the property, and she was accused of drowning a child.
Yeah.
And she was more of a kitchen witch. But a witch is a witch is a witch when you've been accused of drowning a child. And so, yes, she committed suicide and hung herself from a tree. And that is where that story comes up from in The Conjuring. And she's the woman that is causing what's the name of the main star? The woman? The mother? Oh.
Karen.
Yeah, she's the one that's causing her to be bruised, and she's the one that she sees and is terrorizing them. It's Bathsheba.
Well, if I'm remembering this, I might be remembering this incorrectly, but didn't they say that she had a baby just to sacrifice a baby?
Some people said that, yes.
Yeah, and because they were talking, wasn't they? And they obviously the mum couldn't understand why you would have a child just to sacrifice it to Satan or to the devil. And Lorraine Warren was saying, well, to these people, it's not a baby; it's just like a vessel that they use. It's not a human life as such.
Right.
Which is a bit scary. That.
Yeah, it is.
So, do you think that this Bathsheba, say her name again? I can't get me.
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba, she was. Do you think she could have been a proper witch, or she was just?
Yeah, I think it's possible that around those times, things like tarot card reading and trying to talk to the dead, having seances became very popular in this country.
Mm.
And so there was a lot of people who practiced things like that, and it was widely accepted under the table amongst churchgoers because it was fascinating to them. And so I think it's possible that maybe she dabbled in some stuff and maybe it went too far.
See, what I've always wondered, we always talk about. People always talk about let's talk about the Salem witch trials, for example. So, do you think that some of those 200 women, that some of them may have been witches?
No,
You don't.
no.
So don't you? Do you believe that there are witches, real Satan
Yes,
worshipping witches?
definitely.
So why do you think that?
Well, because those mostly come from Caribbean religions or African religions that moved up through the Caribbean. So that wouldn't have had any basis in Salem at all. Those would be people who practice Santeria, and that would be down south, amongst Louisiana and, marsh and lands, sort of. So I don't think that at that time, I don't believe that, and they were so strict with the type of, you know, religion that they had. I don't think anybody would have dared even thought outside the box to do that. So, and like I said, the Caribbean religions wouldn't even have touched them yet. So I really don't think that there were actual witches there. I think most of them were accused by children, and sometimes if you stood up in a courtroom to defend somebody being accused by a witch, you were then accused of being a witch. And if your husband defended you, he was a witch, and you'd all be put to death. The most famous death, as far as the Salem witch trial goes, is the man who was crushed to death. And Jory can probably might be able to help me with that. But they just kept putting the weight on him and more weight and more weight and more weight. And he refused to admit he was a witch because he wasn't a witch, and it crushed him to death. And that was the last death ever
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Salem witch trials.
I remember that. I remember. I don't know why I remember it, but I do remember it. Seeing it
Yeah.
on a TV program because it's because of that. It, it, oh, it's called something today that we like. Were you saying born with a silver spoon in your mouth?
Yes.
Um, there's something to do with crushing and weight that's a saying today, and I can't think what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you shocked me, Tracy.
I did.
You have because I would have a lot of these the witch people, the witchcraft and religion and things like that were brought over from Europe to America, and a lot of Eastern European people who came over to America,
Mm-hmm.
they were gypsies and people. We talked about this today. From what I gather from what you've just told me, you don't believe, you only believe that the witches were real, real witches were down in the south. You don't think that they were anywhere else?
Well, no, I think that okay. So the where the Salem witch trials were, they were Puritans,
Yeah.
and weren't affected by the gypsy culture or anything. Their communities always kept to themselves, much like the. I'm telling you, my brain is foggy. What is the community, you guys, in Pennsylvania where they drive the buggies?
The oh,
Amish,
Amish.
much like the Amish communities, they kept within themselves. So, but I believe that the people who came over from Europe and even the gypsies, I think they were more pagan style witches rather than devil worshipping witches.
Hmm.
Do you do you not? Do you think that that gypsies were devil worshipping witches?
I think some of them were, yeah.
This is important to me because when I was little, I really, really wanted to be a gypsy really bad. To this day, I have to make myself not wear a whole bunch of rings and bracelets so I can chink, chink, chink when I walk.
Well, put it this way: we have gypsies who got well. We don't so
Yes.
much have them down in Cornwall. We don't
Yes.
seem to have them. We have proper gypsies that, when I lived up in Manchester, who would come
Mm-hmm.
round the streets in the summer and they
Uh-huh.
would sell little. They'd make little. I don't know what they're called, like a little flower thing
Mm-hmm.
that they would sell, and they would knock on your door. And if there's anyone from the UK listening, you might be able to fill me in, and because I can't think of the word, but it's like a little posy of flowers that they would make, and they would be
Mm-hmm.
selling them at the door. And if you answered the door, you would buy one. You would.
Really?
They were only a few pence. You would buy it. You wouldn't tell them to f off. You would buy it.
Really?
Yeah, because people were scared not to buy them because of they put a curse on you.
Interesting.
And I remember we had a caravan years and years ago, and it got stolen, and we got the caravan back, and it had all been stripped. It had all been from the outside it looked okay, but on the inside they took everything out of it. But anyway, I was cleaning it one day at the front of the house, and these gypsies stopped to, and they said, "Are you selling the caravan?" I said, "Yeah, but it's been stripped out inside." He said, "Right, I'll buy it off you." I think I said I want £700 or something ridiculous because it was still
Mm-hmm.
a big caravan, and the outside was in really good nick. So he said, "Right, I'll be back tomorrow with the money." They came back the next day with the cash, and they said to us, um, and they had this little old woman with them who it was a woman and a man, and these were proper gypsies, and she had this little red dress on, which was really, really inappropriate for the one was about 70, and, and they stunk to high heaven, but that's another. That's another. Anyway, he asked us could we write him a receipt and put our details on it because
Oh.
in case the police stop them. So anyway, a year later, we got a knock on the door, and it was the police, and they'd found them up somewhere up north somewhere, and they'd asked them because the caravan was still up there. It was still like it had been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they said no, we bought this, and they said the policeman asked us to describe these two gypsies, and the woman still had the same fucking dress on.
That might be why she didn't smell very good.
And but they were proper gypsies. They weren't just. We get a lot of people in Manchester who aren't real gypsies.
Mm-hmm.
They just live like a traveller's life, just out of a way of not paying for things properly. You don't pay, you have to pay
Right.
council tax and things like that, and they travel around. But these were proper gypsies, and we get a lot of um, Eastern European gypsies coming over to England now, um, and looking for work and things like that, and they'll get work picking fruit and things like that, and they'll work for a lot less money. But yeah, I do believe I think
We
we
have a
don't.
large gypsy community in Texas, which is odd.
Yeah,
Is it called Lucky Heather?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, uh, I don't really have an idea. I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't know. You would know better than me. Um, I know that they're always in the old werewolf movies. Does that count? Werewolves were always killing the gypsies. I don't know. Um, we have had TV shows here about gypsies there, but I you thought if you didn't buy the Lucky Heather that they would put a curse on you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But if you didn't believe in the curse, would it work?
Well, there's a film in a minute which answers that question. You want to jump straight to
Perfect.
that film?
Sure.
That Drag Me to Hell. You haven't seen it, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay, this young girl is working in a bank. Yeah. She's not a gypsy. She's working in a bank and she's trying to get a promotion. This old Romanian gypsy lady comes in with only one eye.
Mm-hmm.
And she um, needs some more time on her, presumably her mortgage, or she's going to get kicked out. So the girl wants to give her another chance, but her boss says no. This is like the third chance or something. We need to take the house. So the gypsy lady, after getting upset, turns around and curses her. And when she is going to get her car that night, she's waiting for her in the car. And she, if I remember rightly, the gypsy lady gets her down on the floor, the witch, and she says that you're gonna die, and she spits in her mouth,
Oh.
if I remember rightly. And basically, the girl doesn't believe in the curse because her boyfriend says, "Well, you know, curses aren't real. Just
Mm-hmm.
forget about it." And basically, the curse was real, whether she believed it or not. And she she ends up dying at the end of the film. And it's a really, really good film. And it's
Hmm.
well worth watching if you get a chance to watch it. And while I've just been explaining that to you, do you know another film that we haven't got in the list, which is really, really scary? And it's
What?
about a witch, The Ring, and but it's China or Japanese, isn't it?
Yes.
She's like a witch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was a scary movie.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the original subtitled one, the one that the film was taken from?
No,
That is scary. That even with subtitles, it's scary.
really.
It's like The Grudge as well. That was about a witch as well. And there's something about these Japanese and Chinese girls with the long hair that is really scary.
Yeah, you told me that you find it very scary when they show you like if their hair is pulled over their face and it's really really long.
Yeah, it's just think it's like you with masks. You can't see the
Oh,
face.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. I don't do masks. Yeah, that it's the part about the ring that I found scary was the fact that you couldn't see her face too. She would put her head down and her hair would fall down. I'm
Really,
not a
really
big
scary.
fan of that. Can you hear the wind?
No, can't hear anything.
My gosh, I can hardly hear you over it. If I disappear pretty soon. I'm going to be in The Wizard of Oz. It's where you can find me on the Yellow Brick Road. Okay, so Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch. You haven't seen it, have you?
No,
You haven't seen it?
no.
It's brilliant. It's well worth watching.
And what's it about?
Basically, right. Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage are fighting in the Crusades, and they're very, very good at what they do. And one day they storm this fort, this castle type thing, and they all go inside, and there's loads of them, obviously, and they're killing, and there's loads of smoke, so they can't actually see who they're fighting. Anyway, the smoke clears, and they've killed a load of women and children. So they basically sack being crusaders and try and get home. And it's during the time when there's a plague over Europe and Black Death. And it's affecting really everybody. And they think that the Black Death is being caused by a witch. So they end up wandering into this town to get some food and such, like, some horses and things, because they were on foot. And the swords that they have, they've got like a cross at the top, and there's special swords that are only for the Crusaders. And someone sees the swords anyway. The Pope is there, and he's got the plague, and they have got a witch, which needs taken to this monastery to be tried. And they believe that if they take the witch to the monastery, and she's tried as a witch, and she's put to death, that the plague will end and everybody will live happily ever after. So basically, the gist of the film is they take this young girl she isn't a witch, she's a demon, and she actually wants to go to this monastery because they've got this book, and it's the last copy of this book. There was supposedly a book to do with, and I think it was wrote by a king. I can't remember who it was. It was to do with killing and how you find out who's a witch and what you do. Basically, it was like a book of exorcisms. And the book is real. It is.
I feel like we've talked about it on a podcast.
Yeah. And there was one copy left at this monastery. And basically, the demon had got into the young girl and was pretending to be a witch because the demon wanted them to take her to basically to go and destroy this last copy of the book. And then there would be no stopping the demon. But anyway, Nicolas Cage and Perlman managed to kill the demon. They both end up dying. There's a young kid as well, but they saved the girl. They managed to exorcise the demon. They managed to save the girl. And there's a young boy who wants to be a knight as well. They go off into the sunset at the end of the film, but after they buried Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage. Does this sound like a film that you'd be interested in watching?
Well, I really love Ron Perlman. So I love just about everything he's done. So I would probably watch it. Nicolas Cage, on the other hand, if it was just Nicolas Cage, I wouldn't watch it because he's always the same character. I feel like he's always the same character, no matter what movie he's in. But I love Ron Perlman.
He is quite good in it, Nicolas. I know what you're saying about Nicolas Cage. He's not a very good actor. But he's in all these big films, isn't he? And I was thinking about. I knew that we would have this conversation tonight about Nicolas Cage, and I was thinking of City of Angels that he's in.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh!
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's really good.
he's in these films, so there must be something about him that's.
I guess so.
But,
But he was also in that Demon Motorcycle movie, so.
oh yeah, Hellrider or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
You don't like them?
No.
No, no. I didn't think they
Do you?
No, I didn't think they were very
Uh,
good.
they're bloody shite.
I'm not Irish. Sound like a leprechaun.
I just can't get it right. I'm still working on Lori. I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about your favorite movies. First off, can I just say that I love movies that have a good scary witch? I'm pro scary witch. I like it. I know that the reality is much different than how Hollywood portrays them, so that's why we're talking about Hollywood witches. But I really wish there were more scary witches. I don't know, I like it.
What about Hansel and Gretel? Because that had a really, really, really scary witch in it.
Well, you know, that's based on true stories, though.
Well, yeah.
Because they, remember we talked about fairy tales and that they were too poor to feed their children, so they would send them into the forest. And people would get them and eat them because they were so poor that they didn't have meat. And they would eat these children. And that's where the story of Hansel and Gretel came. Love it.
Pardon?
I can't help it. That is so creepy and weird. So scary. I don't know. I can't watch movies that are too scary, but the idea of that is just fascinating to me. Sorry.
So have you seen the film, the Hansel and Gretel film?
No, I haven't seen the film, but I heard it was really good. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. And it's got a really scary witch in it.
Does it?
I'll tell you who plays the witch. It's a girl. Have you seen the X-Men films?
Yes.
Do you know the one who plays? Oh, what's her name? Oh, really tall, dark hair. I don't know what her name is. Well, it's her.
Oh yeah. Hold on. What is her name? Oh gosh.
She's in House on Haunted Hill as well.
Yeah. Somebody tell me, what's her name? Hold on.
Are you Googling it?
I'm looking it up right now. Well, I don't recognize her name. Gemma Arterton? Is that her name?
Sweet.
That doesn't seem right.
No.
Because Jeremy Renner, it's not. I like Jeremy Renner. What is her name? Yeah, it says that her name on IMDb is Gemma Arterton. But that's not her. It's that girl. It's okay. Help me out here. It's the one who plays the one who can get very, very angry on the X-Men.
Yeah. Is she called Rage or?
Hold on. Is somebody letting me know this? Come on, Jory. Help me out here. Anyway.
I'm not a big X-Men fan, so.
I'll just keep talking about the movie. I'll break in and I'll tell you what her name is.
It's got a really. The guy in Hansel, the guy who plays Hansel, is the guy out of the Avengers film.
Famke Janssen.
Is that what her name is?
Yes, Famke Janssen. That's her. Or
Okay.
is it Olivia Munn? No, it's Famke Janssen.
Yeah.
Is that right, you guys? Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that from House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And
it's what.
she's a
Go on.
scary witch.
Oh yeah, she's very scary.
And she eats the two children or they get away.
They get well. What basically what it is? Um, they Hansel and Gretel were taken out, like you said, and left to fend for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But they grow up. They find the house that's made of sweets and candy and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they're starving. So they go inside, and basically the witch tries to cook them in the oven. Anyway, they kill the witch. Anyway, they grow up, and they are the witch hunters.
Oh.
And their mum was a white witch,
Oh. Oh.
and she had a little underneath. They go back to the house where they were. They find their house. It's all broken down now and all dilapidated. But underneath the house, they find like a cave with all potions and
Hmm.
nice stuff, good, not anything to do with black magic.
Hmm.
And that because their mum was a white witch, that's how they were able to um, fight the witches. But
I see.
I think you would really really like the film. I would recommend you watch it. I think you would really really like it.
All right. I will. So, what about Blair Witch? Do you love so much?
Well, someone in the chat or someone who's listening, please tell
Mm-hmm.
me what the plot to this film was about because I have watched it so many. The first 10 times I tried to watch it, I fell asleep, and then I managed to stay awake, and I still didn't get it. And then they
Okay.
brought out a new version or a second part, basically,
Right.
which was all sort of Hollywood, and that was like 2 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Well, okay. So the first one, it was done on a shoestring budget, as you can tell, and they improvised almost almost everything. They had a basic plot line to go through, but they improvised it, which you can tell by the way they talk to each other, and that every other word is F this and F that because apparently they couldn't come up with better words. And I really love the okay. I love the premise of what the plot line is supposed to be about the history of this Blair Witch and how she has lured the children in and would line them up against the wall and like torture them and kill them. And I thought that was so the premise was so frightening, which is why I always say that if they had cut that just given us the history of the Blair Witch and then cut to the last 5 seconds of the movie where you see the man standing against the wall, that was the only part that made my heart like tense up, and I was like, that was scary. If the movie had just been 10 minutes long, I would have loved it. But unfortunately, there was, almost 2 hours in between it. But what I thought because that was a scary ass witch. And I liked that they would hear noise off in the distance and screams off in the distance. I'm a huge fan of off in the distance, things you can't see scare me. So I'm a huge fan of that, but I think they needed more of that. I did think we needed like a glimpse, like give me a glimpse of something. I did like the part where one of their people with them would disappear and you would hear them screaming off in the distance. That scares me. That is very scary to me. The acting was, I mean, horrible. I
Oh,
just, uh, it was horrible. But what they did do, and here's what I can say about this. The way they promoted this movie was that they started like 6 months early, leaking information about this true story of these kids who were going to do a documentary about this witch and how they were found in the basement of this old stone house. And they just started slowly like leaking like a newspaper article here or there, just comments in the like a little tiny piece of news. And then as we got closer, they made it seem as though somebody heard about it and wanted to do a, a documentary about these kids. That they had found the tapes that they had filmed, and so they were going to show it as it is. And then, it was horrifying. And they even set up months and months early a website about this Blair Witch and put these children, these teenagers, well, they're adults, put them up on missing persons posters and numbers you could call if you saw them, which would be funny because they were actually by that time walking around in real life. So if missing and they showed their pictures, and I then they added the website, and then they added the fact that they were doing this. They were just going to show this raw footage, and it had never been done before. I don't even know if I don't think it's been done since. It was done so well that everybody who went to see this movie, nobody. It was, the kind of movies where they have a twist in it, and you're not supposed to tell anybody, like The Sixth Sense, things
yeah.
like that. So people don't say it because you're not supposed to know. That's the best part of the movie. So, people standing in line to see this movie, we thought that it was real footage found by these, young adults who went missing trying to do a documentary about this witch. And I thought that marketing couldn't have been more brilliant. It was brilliant because everybody was fooled, and everybody was going to the website, and everybody was seeing these stills of them, of the actors that we thought were real people, from the footage. And people were saying that they got sick because of the handheld camera thing, which I don't enjoy. But the fact that we were going in there thinking that we were watching this documentary, I thought was, hold on. Todd says, I totally disagree about the acting. I wish I could call in, but I can't. Good acting isn't how people are in real life. Well, that's the thing, is that the way they spoke to each other, I didn't feel like was a natural conversation because they were trying to improv their conversations. I felt like it pulled me out of the movie because they were like bickering in a way that, I mean, people in a way that wouldn't be true to real people. That's just how I felt about it. But I thought that the marketing for this movie, I mean, for a movie that was made for like $1.50, the marketing it was huge. It was huge in the box office because of that marketing. It was brilliant. I just hated the movie. I hated that every other word was F this and F you and F that and F this. Um, I thought at some points the acting was fine because what they would do at night, the filmmakers, what they would do at night is legitimately keep them awake and scare them. They would legitimately go up and touch their tent. They would have these noises outside that they could hear. They would have the twigs cracking, and they would have screams of the whoever on the cast had gone, quote unquote, missing. They would have them screaming. So there were occasions where they didn't know if this was really a fake film or not. So when you see her talking to the camera and she's crying and she doesn't even bother to wipe her nose, I love that because there were points where they didn't know. They were off guard. So I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. I didn't like it, but I do think that there were points about this movie that were just farking brilliant that haven't been repeated.
Well,
So
they
there you
tried
go.
to. They tried to with the second one. Have you seen the second one?
No.
Don't bother.
Okay. Not good at all.
It was the first found footage film, wasn't it?
The first one?
It was, the found footage type
Yeah.
films.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
the first one.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was one. It was the first one of the found footage films. People have did those kind of movies again, but they didn't get the kind of because we know it was fake. But they didn't. So they didn't get the kind of buzz that the Blair Witch did. It was exciting. I stood in line. Oh my God, I stood in line, a huge line for this movie. And about, I don't even know, 30 minutes in, I was like, all right, I was screwed. I gotta sue somebody because I figured out it's not real. But I did like that there were parts that they did have actual, honest to God, real reactions because the film crew tried to stay away and let them just do the handheld. But there was a crew there. And they did intentionally try to scare them out in the middle of the woods. And I thought that was also brilliant. Because even if you know that something's safe, you feel like, okay, oh, this is great. You sit there and you talk about it. This is how it's going to be. If you're out in the middle of the woods and it's dark and shit starts happening and you don't know that the production is out there, I would still be scared. Because, like I said, the unknown that you can't see, it scares me. So did I just say S scares me?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm making up words. That is exciting to me. So while I agree that it was not a great movie, parts of it were brilliant, I thought. So there you go.
Okay. We'll have to agree to disagree.
Well, but you did. Okay, so did you see it when it was in the theater?
No.
See, that could be the difference because we were getting the hype about it. And personal home computer had just really become a thing. Not like now where there's a computer in every house. So people were having to go over to other people's houses to look at their computers to watch it. It came out when I had my very first computer, which was a long time ago, and so it was the buzz and the hype of having to get online and be like, oh my gosh, and being told flat out that this is a true story. These people went missing because of this witch. Was that made you scared before you even went to the movie?
Oh God.
Are you laughing at me?
Fucking gullible people in
No.
America.
Oh, don't start trashing America. Don't start trashing America with me.
Oh, I tell you what, Chaser,
Yes.
it was pants. It was the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen.
So to you, it was a chupacabra.
It was. I don't know if it would go that far.
Why are you laughing at me? I'm telling you my truth. I'm opening my soul to you, Rob.
Okay. Well,
Are you going to call me an idiot again?
Hey?
Are
Say
you?
again?
Are you going to call me an idiot again?
I never called you an idiot.
You did. You said it was the most idiotic thing you'd ever heard.
Well, that's not calling you an idiot, is it?
Yes.
Well, it's not.
This is how women and men hear things differently. Right here. This is an example.
Exactly. Guess what we're going to talk about now, everybody? Harry Potter.
What? Oh, Harry Potter?
Potter.
Let's talk about Harry Potter. All right. Hey, Jeremy, are you geared up for this?
Oh, no, we've got reinforcements.
What? Are you geared up to talk about the kinds of witches that are in Harry Potter, since you are a Harry Potter expert? Oh, I asked you if you would talk about Harry Potter because you know all about Harry Potter and could go into details about the different kinds of witches. Oh, I thought maybe I woke you up too. Okay, so, you're a wizard, Harry. That's right, diabolical witness. Jeremy did not disappear. Jeremy is not set up with a microphone. He's not feeling well today. I have broken ribs and a broken toe. Jeremy has a broken body, and
I've got a broken heart.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, diabolical witness. He fell asleep. You probably did. He's probably sick of me and Rob arguing like old married folk. Gonna break up with you, Rob. Okay. So Harry Potter. Here's what I like about Harry Potter. I know you don't like Harry Potter, so I feel as though if I open my heart to you and tell you why I like Harry Potter, that at the end of it you'll start laughing at me.
Can I just say something before we start? Before you start?
Yes.
Harry Potter isn't real.
What?
It isn't real, Tracy.
Are you shitting me right now? You're British. You didn't go to Hogwarts?
No.
Why are we talking right now?
I just wanted to let you know that it's not real. It's not the Blair Witch. It's not real.
It's a chupacabra.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter, if I ever get to have my own world, just putting that out there, my world's going to include a Hogwarts and animals, small animals that talk, not large ones. We don't need that. I love the magical feeling of Harry Potter. Now, the thing is there are good witches and bad witches and wizards, and it's normal. And their portrayal of witches is their portrayal of basically human nature. So, we have good people, we have bad people, we have people who laugh at others when they're opening their feelings. And Harry Potter portrays that. Well, his where Harry Potter comes from, his uncle is an aunt or douchebags. And it starts off from the very beginning as portraying humans and human nature, and then this witchcraft community as the same thing. They're the same thing. They just have, wands. And I really like that because they're what's her name? Bellatrix. She's the really strange one that is in all the like Johnny Depp movies. Bellatrix. What's her last name? Lestrange. She's crazy and bad, and love it. I love it, and she's actually kind of like that in real life. But then you have the character of Luna, and isn't her name Lovegood? Jeremy? Luna Lovegood, who I think we can all agree is one of our favorite people on the planet. I wish it was real. So you have this whole juxtaposition of Luna Lovegood.
Sounds like a porn star.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. You better move. Oh, no. Did you hear that, Jeremy? Are we going to put up with this? Yeah, we're going to censor Rob. We're going to put him on a 5-second delay. No, she's very sweet and kind and talks like this. And then you have like Bellatrix Lestrange, who's crazy and evil, and of course he whose name shall not be spoken is completely evil. But it's very much exactly like if you let humans be witches, it would run the spectrum. It's very much like that, and so I really like that part of it. I really wish that I was a witch or wizard or something. Moving on. Porn star. God dang. Has Harry Potter and porn star ever been said in the same sentence before? I hope not. I hope not.
So have you seen all the Harry Potter films?
Yes, I have. And for the first two are seem to be more geared for a children's audience. We're starting with the third, which is the best. It's the Prisoner of Azkaban. Is that right, Jeremy? Okay, that's the scariest. I mean, as an adult, I found it very dark, and it gave a really good scary feeling. I accidentally took my daughter's best friend. Well, I didn't accidentally take her. I didn't know I shouldn't take her. My daughter's best friend, who had nightmares for 2 years because of it. Yeah, so good for me. That's some good parenting. But yes, that's right, Victor. The first two were directed by Christopher Columbus. I loved it when they started getting more dark. The story is dark. I mean, this Harry's was a baby, and he was trying to be killed, and I put a mark on his forehead. They were trying to kill this baby. So, I mean, when you start off a story that way, it's dark. They're trying to kill him through the whole series. So, it's dark. I just think it's very, very good. Why don't you like it?
I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. Just don't find it entertaining.
No porn stars?
I just think it's a kids' film.
No necrophilia? It's not though. It's the thing is that if push past the first two, because the first two is more of a children's film. It is. But then it takes the darkest turn and has scary oh Jeremy, the names of those scary black things like smoke are Dementors. Those are scary. You should try and push going into the older, where they are trying to, where it actually embraces the darkness of these books. It's good.
You got to invest so much time in watching all these films. It's like Star Wars. I can't be bothered with that either. I can't. It's just ridiculous that there's so many films. It's just crazy.
You can't be. You watch. What was it that you watched? Like the scary movie that you watched, like all 8 movies about? Like Insidious or one of those?
Yeah, like I've watched all the Underworld, with Kate Beckinsale, the vampire one.
Yeah.
I've watched all them. They were good. I've watched all the Resident Evil ones. They were good.
Right.
But that's more my cup of tea. I'm not really into fluffy
Right.
little, little wizards and glasses on and,
But like I said, it's not fluffy after the third one. Fluff goes out the window. Um,
I would much prefer a good zombie apocalypse over Harry Potter.
and you've never seen Star Wars.
I have never seen Star Wars. I have tried
Not
to watch Star Wars and I just don't get it at all.
I'm speechless.
I love
That
Star
never
Trek.
happens. Star Trek. No. Star Wars. Star Wars was life changing to me. Dun da 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 dun da da da, and the credits roll up, and you're like, "Oh my god!" It was life changing to me.
I think you
I
need
don't know what to say.
I think you need to leave them pain meds alone. I don't know about how else.
First off, I have broken ribs. I have to have something. Anyway, all right. Let's move on so you don't crush all of my dreams. Do you like movies about necrophilia? By the way, people, we have a design for a shirt you want to get arrested for that implies you'll know what it means. You'll know what it means when I put it up on the store. You're going to get it. You're going to get the inside joke. But other people walking by you won't, so that's probably for the best. Anyway, let's move on to another witch. Which
Hocus
witch?
pocus.
Oh my god. Wait. Okay. I no, you are gonna I'll cry. I will cry if you diss this movie. Okay, for most of the time that Hocus Pocus was out, it was known in our house, and Jory can attest to this, as The Witches. Because my daughter, all right, you guys, here's a strange personal story you have to hear about me because I'm compelled to tell one every time we have a podcast. I had a horrible pregnancy with moderator Maya. Love her. She did not enjoy being a fetus. So I was on bed rest, and Madison was incapable of entertaining herself, and my kids didn't watch TV. So she didn't have like any kind of kids' TV shows. She liked Diabolical Witness. Hocus Pocus is the best Halloween movie we watch every year. Do you know, Brian, that they've already played it twice? Shh. They've already played Hocus Pocus twice. And by the way, in January, they have this whole week in January of Halloween movies, and Hocus Pocus is always played then too. Okay, so anyway, so we found somehow Hocus Pocus and put it on for Madison to watch, and she became downright obsessed. She has the best big brother in the world because I was on bed rest, couldn't keep food down, and he watched it with her. Like from the time her feet hit the floor in the morning till the time she would go to bed at night. And every time it came to the end, she would start yelling, "Witches, witches." And Jory would have to start it again. Jory, are you still here? Anyway, he deserves a prize for that. So it is a big, as a matter of fact, my Madison wants, to this day, she's a grown woman, she wants a shirt that says, "I'm the fourth Sanderson sister." I love the witches in that. Now, this is actually the Hocus Pocus is a dark movie. If you take a step back and actually get the plot, okay, they have to eat children to stay young. They turned a child into a cat, Binks, and so they are hunting for children to eat. And here's something very odd that I can't believe Disney did, is that a virgin has to be the one who like saves the world from these witches. It has to be a virgin. And the older brother gets teased by these other boys for being a virgin still. By the way, they're like 15 years old. So, duh. So they're teasing him for being a virgin. It has to be a virgin that saves the world. And they're eating children. So if you step back and think about the plot line of this movie, if you just read it on paper, you'd be like, yeah, maybe I won't watch that one with my child. But it's great. I love it. I love it. Jory says, can still quote that movie word for word. Only a virgin can lift the black flame candle that brings the witches back from the dead. Yep. Yeah, good job, Jory. I can quote from that movie. Rob has fallen back to sleep.
I'm just listening. I don't want to upset anyone else, so I'm just going to sit here and be quiet.
You're not upsetting me, Rob. I know you're a tough guy. You can't admit it. You really like these movies.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. I'm just trying to hide my true self.
Have you ever seen Hocus Pocus?
I put it on. I started to watch it and fell asleep.
No. So how can you say you don't like it if you haven't watched it, though?
Well, the actual fact that I fell asleep usually means to me that it wasn't very good.
Maybe it was just relaxing.
Maybe.
Maybe it was very good.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think I'm on the right side of history on this one, Rob.
Why? Why? What does that? What's history got to do with anything?
These are going to go down as classic. Best movies ever.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I won't hold
What else
you
do you want? What other one would you like to talk about, Rob? Let's talk about one that you like that I might not like. Let's say
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I've seen parts of it. I've seen parts of it. Charlize Theron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she's an evil witch?
Yeah.
Is it so she's Snow White's stepmother. She's the one that sends the huntsman to take Snow White's heart?
Yeah. Because they reckon she thinks that if she's got Snow White locked up in the tower, hasn't she?
Okay.
And Snow White escapes.
Oh.
And the mirror tells the witch that if she gets the heart of Snow White, she'll stay young forever. Basically, she'll be immortal and stay young.
Isn't the original story that the mirror told her that she wasn't the most beautiful woman in the land?
Well,
that there was Snow White?
No, the mirror tells her that she is the most beautiful person in the world or the land or whatever until Snow White reaches a certain age,
Okay.
and then she sort of forgot about Snow White because she's been locked in the tower for, well, let's say 10 years.
Okay.
So the huntsman, is the guy who plays Thor in the Avengers, whose name I can't remember.
Oh. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, you guys. No, no, no. This is not a name I can forget. Uh, oh, isn't his brother the one who dates Miley Cyrus? Help me, people. It is. Oh, yeah. Maybe he is the one who dates Miley Cyrus. It's Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth, yeah.
There's things in Thor other than Chris Hemsworth. There's a by the way, I said Christopher Columbus directed Harry Potter, and I don't think he did. I think he was dead by then. Anyway, sorry about that. My moderator Maya just told me. So there's a plot, and it's not just Chris Hemsworth walking around looking handsome. Oh, his brother is Liam Hemsworth. That's right. Which one of these dates Miley Cyrus? Liam?
Liam, yeah.
Okay, both of them.
One of them is married with kids, so.
Yeah, that must be Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
So
he goes out to find Snow White and ends up helping her.
good.
And Snow White is played by the girl who was in Twilight.
Kristen
Stewart.
Oh, this is the movie where she had the affair with the director and it made her break up with the other vampire from the Twilight. Yeah.
I can't work out whether she's good looking, this girl.
I don't think she is. She's not my type.
She just, I don't know.
What is Diabolical Witness? What are you saying no for?
Well, she's not good looking, or she is good looking.
Oh, well, maybe yes. Maybe he thinks she's not good looking. I don't think she's good looking. She's I don't know. I just feel like her personality comes out and she just feels like she's not a very nice person. Oh, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is when I heard she did it. That's so funny. We're talking about when when Kristen Stewart had an affair and broke up with what's his name. Anyway, she's a witch. That's what I gotta say.
I get her confused with the girl who played in Beauty and the Beast, the one that was on not so long ago.
You mean Hermione from Harry Potter?
Is that? Yeah, I get them mixed up.
What? One has a beautiful, lovely heart, and the other one is dark and scary.
Have you seen Beauty and the Beast?
I've seen part of it because you told me I should watch it, so I did see part of it. Diabolical Witness says, "I live in Twilight Country. All the places were real and here local." Oh, really? Because what Fork, Washington. They didn't film it in Washington. They filmed it in Oregon. I didn't know that. Oregon is one of my. Oh, okay. Oregon is one of my most favorite places on the planet. Love it. Um, the girl who plays in Beauty and the Beast, Hermione
Yeah.
Granger, she is light, a ball of light, and Kristen Stewart is coal in your stocking on Christmas, I think. I'm
Well,
just saying.
I get them confused. So.
Okay. I'm learning a lot about you today, Rob.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next film is The Craft.
I haven't seen The Craft in 100 ages, and it's the girls who are witches that put spells on people, like curses, right?
Yeah, the sister dies, and then the other sister, who's a reporter, she goes back to school, pretends to be younger than she is, to sort of.
Right.
Is it ringing a bell?
Yeah, it's ringing a bell.
And the sister that goes back to school, she was one of the three witches in Charmed, weren't she?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I loved Charmed. I loved that show.
I thought it was good, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was, oh, God. It wasn't Rose McGowan, was it?
No, she's just been in a film called that White Noise. It's a new White Noise film, which was she looked really rough in it. I
Did
don't know what's
she?
happened. She must have had an hard life.
Well, I think so. Yeah. She's very in the news right now. But I think she did have a hard life. But Rose McGowan used to date um, Marilyn Manson. So it takes a
Oh,
special kind of person to date Marilyn Manson.
I quite like Marilyn Manson.
Would you like your daughter to date him?
No, I don't want my daughters to date anyone.
I'm just saying that um, he's, I think, I he feels dark to me.
I've heard he's not. I've heard that he's quite a nice person, really.
Really? Well,
After
he
you
could
take
be a
away,
lovely person, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I have his music on my playlist, so I guess I have no room to talk.
I quite like him.
Okay, you like him and you hate Harry Potter. I get it. I got you now. I got you.
You got me what? In what respect?
You are a very dark person, Rob.
I'm a very dark person.
You're a very dark person. You like scary. You don't like Harry Potter because it's not scary to you. If it's not scary, it's you feel like, okay, I could be totally wrong. But you haven't seen the third Harry Potter with the Dementors because they were scary. But if it's not scary, then it feels more like a children's type of a movie to you. And you like the full on scare factor stuff.
Yes, basically.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you something now. I'll tell everybody this now. I don't know if I've told you this before. I have really bad nightmares and flashbacks. Now, I can go to if I can watch a really, 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 really scary film, it stops me having nightmares.
Really?
Yeah. So
Huh.
that's why I like watching really scary horror films.
So it feels therapeutic, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can
Or
understand that.
I might have a dream about the film, which in most circumstances would maybe scare somebody,
Right.
but having a nightmare or having a nightmare about a scary movie that I've watched is better than me having a flashback or something like that. So that's why I like really, really scary films.
Huh. Okay. Well, I can see that. I get that. I don't
I
think
wonder if I
that's
told you that.
strange. No, I don't think so. So I see why you don't like Hocus Pocus and stuff. You're coming at it from a different angle than other people would be coming at it. And although if if you I don't know, if you watched it with your girls
Oh yeah, it'd be
and
different. Yeah.
yeah, maybe it would be different. Yeah, I get it. I see.
Like
Um Go
when I
ahead.
took them when I took them to see we went to see Beauty and the Beast. That was amazing.
Right.
I don't like musicals, but
Right.
that was just it was just an amazing film, and the
Right.
girls really loved it. And I would go, and then that's why we watched the Greatest Showman.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So I get it. I get what you're coming from. I will forgive the Harry Potter. I really think maybe just skip up to the third one. Um, so I'm supposed to, okay. Hey, Exit, will you ever do a horror film mukbang or mukbang, however you guys want to pronounce it? Uh, no.
A horror fan? What? Sorry?
Do you know what a mukbang is or a mukbang? A mukbang, mukbang, mukbang? Do you know what that
No, I
is?
don't. I've never heard that
You
phrase.
sit in front of your camera and you basically eat. Like you get a whole bunch of food from one restaurant or several restaurants, and you basically eat. People like to watch those, and they're very, very popular on YouTube. Um, I would not do one, but you can, Victor. I'll watch it. Um, my moderator Maya says, "I hope you guys talk about Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost." That's so funny. That's a that's a that's a classic. Um, and
I like Scooby Doo.
let's
Hello.
see. You like Scooby Doo?
I
I
like
love
Sarah.
Scooby Doo.
I like Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, I do too. Did you watch Buffy?
I certainly did.
I watched Buffy too. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with everything. Charlie Swan's house in St. Helens is up for sale for $350,000. What? You're kidding me?
Whose house?
We're talking about Twilight, and let's see. Todd says you have to talk about the witch scene in The Holy Grail, how to properly identify one. Jory would be good at that. I wish he was on because he would do that. Mad Meerkat says, love Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Have you seen that one?
No, I'm not sure.
That's that is a movie that has been watched in my house so many times. Um, let's see. Okay. Um, do you like Gary Oldman?
Yeah.
He's in the third Harry Potter, and he is unrecognizable. I'll say that. Anyway, I don't know why I keep going back to Harry Potter, but Maya, if you want to get a microphone and talk about Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, that would be fun. I love the different ways that witches are portrayed in movies, and um, the Witch's Ghost is also is that the one? No, Zombie Island. Scooby Doo and Zombie Island is set in
I've
New
seen that one.
Orleans. Yeah, that is set in New Orleans. So, duh, I love it. Okay. Let's see. The Covenant. I've never seen The Covenant.
Yeah, it's about. I watched a bit of it the other day just to get a refresher. It's about four. I think it's four guys. They're like a special school, and they have all got magic powers, but they get the full powers when they're 18,
Hmm.
and they the more they use the powers, the older they get.
What?
The more that they use the powers, it sort of drains their life force.
Oh. Well, that's not fair.
But it's more of a it's more like a chick flick than anything else, and it's not really. It's got some can't think what they're called. What the name of these the lads that play the parts are quite famous, but I can't think what they're called. Um,
I'll look it up.
I think one of them could be. Well, it couldn't be that. It wouldn't be the right time. I was thinking that one of them was the guy that Buffy got married to. Is it
Oh.
Freddie?
Freddie
But
Prinze?
it can't be him because it must be getting on a bit now. Him.
Yeah. I don't recognize anybody in this cast. Oh, Chase Crawford. Um, there's Stephen Strait, Sebastian Stan, Toby Hemingway. I don't recognize anybody here.
You'd recognise them if you saw. Have you got pictures of them?
Yeah.
You don't recognise them from the pictures.
Steven Crowder, I think I do. Robert Crooks, maybe. But no, not really. Other than Chase Crawford. No, I don't think I do. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't recognize them in the movie because these are their headshots. So that doesn't mean I wouldn't recognize them if I saw the movie. I might go, oh, yeah, they were in such and such movie.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anyone. I mean, it's good if you've got a couple of hours to kill.
that you can't get back.
Yeah. But I think we should move on to the next film, which is one of your all-time favourites.
Okay.
Well, I still haven't seen it all the way bleeding through. Practical
Practical
Magic.
Magic. Oh my God. So it stars Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. And like I said to Rob, it's Nicole Kidman before she went full on plastic surgery and that blonde that washes her already pale self away when she had the red hair and she was still sexy. And um, it's so good. So they Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman live with their aunts. Their aunts are witches. And Nicole Kidman accidentally kills her abusive boyfriend. And they, Sandra Bullock's character, that helps her, and they bury him in their front yard. Well, he's like comes alive.
Really?
And yeah, he comes alive, and they have to uh, get rid of him. And um, he is like haunting Nicole Kidman, and he's still abusive and stuff, and she starts to become possessed by him. He starts to possess. Oh, and it's Antonio Banderas is her boyfriend, and I think so. And the aunt witches like leave and say like this is enough. Take care of this. We're not dealing with this. There's a cop in town. He's trying to solve this murder. Him and Sandra Bullock fall in love. Sandra Bullock has two children who are a redhead and a brunette, just like her and Nicole Kidman. And anyway, so everybody in town talks about the fact that they're witches. They make potions, quote unquote potions, that are healing kind of stuff, and soaps and stuff and whatnot. Sandra Bullock does. Everybody like talks about them and they're witches, and they are on this phone line for school where if something like, hey, the school is closing early because of a snowstorm, all the moms call each other. So they use this phone line thing to call the moms together, and they get together and they're like, okay, we are witches and we need to get rid of the spirit. And they all bring their brooms and do this like I don't know, spell thing. um it's really, really, really good. That description I just gave you does not sound very good at all, but it is so good. I love this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, just check it out. It's not bloody or gory or scary, but it is very, very good. So there you go. That is one of my all-time favorite movies, which might not say a lot about me, but it is very good. It's one of those movies I can, everybody has those movies that they can just watch over and over again. This is one of those movies for me. It's calming to me. It's, not dark or heavy. There's dark, kind of heavy moments, but it's not in general. The ants are completely lovable. I wish they were my ants. And once again, I could be a witch. What is wrong with me? But it's really neat. It's a good movie. You guys should to watch it because it, like I said, it has the evil parts, and they do what do they. Hey, I'm a show tune. They do magic, use magic and like curses and spells and stuff. So it's fun, I think. Rob is always silent.
Listening to you.
I feel your judgment, Rob.
Well, I'm annoyed that I haven't seen it all the way through.
Yeah,
I really want to see it all the way through.
it's good. Hey, Jeremy, can you hook Maya up to talk about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, or no? Oh, Maya says she doesn't want to talk about it, Jory. So, okay, moderator Maya. See, people are wanting you to, Maya. Diabolical Witness wants you to. Maybe Jory can call in. Maybe we can add him to the call. And he can tell us about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Let me know, Jor. What's your next witch? Why don't you talk about Rosemary's Baby? Because that's a scary, scary movie.
Do you know what I'll talk about the skeleton key?
We can talk about the skeleton key as well.
Okay, well, which one do we want to do first?
Either one. Which do you think is scarier?
Skeleton key. Oh,
Really?
I don't know. Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I suppose Rosemary's Baby, which
Okay.
when it first came out, like you were saying, it had Mia Farrow in it. It was up there. It got criticised a lot.
Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby when it first came out, and I don't know why because I thought it was a good film.
Rob, I'm sorry. Can I break in here really fast?
Yep.
We have chance in the chat for both Jory and Maya to talk about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So, and thank you, Victor. That was nice. Sorry, Brian Brian stepped out for a second. What am I helping with? Oh, hey, Jory, do you want to be added? Can we add Jory somehow, Jeremy, to the call so he can talk about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost? Hey, Jory, can you talk about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost? Moderator Maya is being shy. Yeah, see, they're like, okay, so put Maya and Jory in here. See, you guys? You guys, Maya, people love a good moderator.
I'll leave her alone. She's shy. She just, it's the... Talk about being plunged in at the deep end.
Rob.
What?
You are salty.
Oh, sorry, I'm what?
Salty.
Salty? What does that mean?
Oh, Jory's here.
What am I here for?
Hello, Jory.
Hi.
Maya, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Rob is defending you, Maya. Rob is trying to leave you alone.
I was here.
Okay, Rob, do you mind if we take a minute from Rosemary's Baby and talk about this most famous Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost?
Not at all.
Okay. All right, you two.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie in a few years, so it's gonna be hard to, like, detail it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies. It has the Hex Girls.
Yes?
And they're, like, in a band that they're called the Hex Girls, but they're, like, actually, like, low-key witches. But they're, like, they're teenage girls.
Right.
And they do, like, spells and stuff like that. Jory, you know what I'm talking about?
Would you like me to help you describe the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the premise of the movie is that Scooby-Doo and the gang are in the midst of another crime caper mystery. And as it looks like they're about to fall prey to a monster, they receive outside help from somebody that turns out to be an author that Thelma is in love with.
Yeah.
And he invites them to his town where they're holding a fall harvest celebration that's headlined by the Hex Girls. And when they go, it becomes interrupted by the ghost of a witch, where it becomes a mystery to figure out, you know, who's the witch, why is she tormenting the town, and the Hex Girls become involved because one of them actually ends up having powers, kind of, sort of, through her family bloodline. Anyways, long story short, it turns out that the witch is real and the author is actually related to her, and he brings her back to life. And yeah, it's a pretty good movie. If you're a person that likes the whole what's the word I'm looking for? New England fall harvest feel of a movie, then yeah, it's really good.
Do you know who's in it that I was surprised about?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah, he plays the author.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So there you go, guys. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, presented by moderator Maya and Jory.
Sort of.
Sort of, moderator Maya.
Yeah,
like
sort of. Like
witches and stuff.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I kind of forgot the plot of the movie.
I just like when she says low-key witches. It's like, got that hide underneath the parents' basement. Mom, don't open the door without knocking. We're doing stuff down here.
Yeah.
We're low-key down here, Mom.
We're low-key doing spells.
We're low-key doing spells and stuff. You wouldn't understand. You don't know my life. Don't judge me.
I wanted to be a hex girl. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god. That's what Maya did to me once. Now I know what she was doing.
I was trying to be a
Yeah,
hex
Maya's
girl.
low-key.
Yeah.
Maya's low-key a witch.
Yeah.
I'm low-key a
I
witch.
was like, Maya, come down here for dinner. She's like, stop, Mom. God. I'm low-key a witch up here.
Mom, I'm trying to run a coven of witches down here. And yes, I want tomato soup with the grilled cheese sandwich.
Covens don't run themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys, for making an appearance.
No problem. I was forced.
Victor says you have a great voice, Maya.
Oh, thank you. I was voluntold to get
Oh,
on
and I
here.
don't, Victor? I get dragged into this and can't even comment on how great my voice sounds? Oh, how nice.
You got a lovely voice.
Officially hurt.
Joy, you're not hex girl material. Sorry.
Oh, I'm fond of your voice, Jory. I made it.
How rude. I could be a hex girl.
Okay.
You can do anything you want, baby.
Anything.
Hey, this is Donald Trump's America. I could be whatever I want.
You can be anybody you want. You go.
I go, girlfriend. Because I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you.
Oh, help me. Oh, help me.
I just got kicked out. Thanks.
Oh, boy. All right.
Thanks, Victor. I appreciate it.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Now that I've hijacked the podcast, what am I talking about next?
Rob's going to tell us about Rosemary's Baby.
Oh.
So go for it, Rob.
Okay. Americans are all mad.
No, just my family. We're just weird.
Anyway, Rosemary's Baby. It was slated when it first came out. I don't think people took it very seriously. It was sort of up there with The Omen and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching a interview with
the
guy
vampire?
who wrote... Sorry?
I'm sorry, Rob. I was messing with you. Go ahead.
Who was the guy that wrote The Exorcist? Was it John Peter? Oh, what was his
Yes,
name?
Peter Blatty, something.
Peter Blatty.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an interview with him, and he was adamant he didn't want the film, The Exorcist, to be another Rosemary's Baby. So it wasn't very well thought of, Rosemary's Baby, the one with Mia Farrow. I thought it was quite a good one. I thought, have you both seen the original?
I saw the original a long time ago.
I didn't like the guy who played Mia Farrow's husband.
No, I don't think anybody did.
No, he wasn't very nice, was he?
No.
And I found the family, the old lady and the old guy that lived either next door to them, really, really didn't like them. They were really, really, used to give me goosebumps. But yeah, we talked about this earlier. It's class. They class it as a film about witches, but it's more about devil worship than witches, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the plan with Rosemary's Baby? What was the plan? Because when she's giving birth, they're all sitting around her. What did they want to do with Rosemary's Baby?
Well, basically, Rosemary's Baby the baby was conceived by the devil. It wasn't the guy. The guy basically sold his soul because he wanted to be a famous actor, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And his acting career was going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So he started going over to the neighbours more and more while she was pregnant. Well, they were trying to get pregnant, and I don't think it was made. I wasn't sure whether it was his baby or then something happened to the baby after after she'd become pregnant. But it
Mm-hmm.
was basically the devil's baby.
Right.
And at the end of the film, which is you get to see more of that in the newer version. She decides that she's still going to look after the baby. They have
Yeah.
remember the scene where they go into the apartment and all the people are there and the
Yes.
baby is in a black crib
Mm-hmm.
and you don't actually get to see the baby, do you?
No.
Well, you do in the new one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and it's not very nice.
Oh, really?
And she decides to keep the baby and to look at and to basically nurse the baby and bring the baby up.
Mm.
So I don't really think it's about witches, but you could say that the neighbours were all witches.
Yes.
But on the same, you could always say that you could say that the neighbours are all devil worshippers. So I don't really know. I think it wasn't a really. Most people like with a horror movie, with a horror film, they like there to be a happy ending, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or a more positive ending than the film sort of portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
In Rosemary's Baby, there isn't. Basically
Right.
the devil wins. The
Right.
devil wins. And I think that's why people didn't, especially in America, because obviously very important. The Christian faith over there is quite important. It's obviously your churches and whatever they call them, they're not so much churches, are they? They're all full every week, and you've got the Bible Belt and everything like that. You really can't really then produce a horror movie where the devil supposedly wins. That ain't going to go down very well, is it?
Okay. What's your perception of? You said our churches aren't really churches?
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the big old churches we have in this country, like cathedrals.
Oh, I see. Yes, there's not very many of those. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
I don't mean that they're not churches. As you have lots of like Christian fellowships, don't you, where they're just like big halls. I mean, you have a guy. I don't know what it's like in America, do I? I'm just going off.
I don't think you do.
What I've seen on the TV. You don't.
Our churches are churches. They look like churches. Most of them look like churches with a steeple and all that, but they don't look like the kind you have.
Well, exactly.
Some do.
So I was right.
Well,
some of our churches sell chicken too.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the time that the movie came out, that it would not have been a positive aspect of the movie if the devil won.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Yes. Well, you could have said that without, talking about how great your churches are.
How different our churches are.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, Catholics and Lutherans, they're more likely to have those kind of churches that you're talking about. The big ones that look like castle-y,
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Catholics are always right, so.
Oh, I don't know if you're growing your fan base here. They could be. I know that I would like to have a priest on hand.
Just a minute, Tracy.
Okay.
Stop it.
Are you all right?
I'm having an argument with a snake. Sorry. Right, I'm okay now.
That wasn't weird.
No, he was being nasty. Striking. He was striking at the glass because you can see me here, and he's striking at the glass, and he's being an idiot, and he's going to hurt himself. Sorry about that to everybody. I didn't have a chance to mute myself.
And this is all uncensored, everybody, just for you.
Oh, that is interesting.
Just so everybody understands what I'm talking about, I've got...
Please explain, Rob.
Please explain your snake.
Please explain the fight with the snake.
Not going to explain.
Woo! Do we need to change the rating for this now?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I swear to God, for a minute there, I was like, what? What is happening?
Dang it, Rob, you're killing my mom.
Oh my God. He's like, stop it. Stop it.
I smell another t-shirt coming along.
I do too.
Snake Wrestler Rob. Only at Exit Live.
Everybody's going, Rob's in a fight with a snake?
I think Dad wants to turn Rob Snake into jerky.
Oh my God, you guys. Rob, thank you for that. Tell them, Rob, that you have a real snake.
I just don't know anymore.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so Rob has like a what, boa or a python or a, what do you call him?
I call mine Jerry.
Can we just move on, please? Just whatever I say now, I'm back. Can't rescue.
Oh my God! I swear to God, Jeremy, if this podcast gets lost, I'm gonna be so mad. Oh, okay.
Moving on. Steer the
Moving
ship.
on. What should we talk about next?
God knows.
Well, we have to talk about the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah, that'll do.
Okay, so Rob you don't particularly like the Wizard of Oz, right?
Not at the moment, no. I have watched it when I was a kid. I suppose for its time when it was first made, it was pretty much amazing.
Right. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, yeah, because can you imagine that when the people in the theater when it went from black and white to color?
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. That, of course. So for most children, for decades, the first scary witch they ever saw was the witch on The Wizard of Oz, right? She was the Wicked Witch of the West. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So. And they killed the Wicked Witch of the East Dorothy did by landing on her, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, that was the epitome of scary witches and her flying monkeys. I loved it. I love The Wizard of Oz.
Was the flying monkeys in it?
Yes, there were flying monkeys. She controlled the flying monkeys, and she sent them out to go get. They tore apart the scarecrow, and they picked up Toto and broke the Tin Man, and yeah, they were scary. They kept Dorothy prisoner in a castle. So
I don't remember any of that.
you don't?
No, it's years since I watched it.
I wanted to name one of my volleyball teams the Flying Monkeys, and everybody said no. I thought it was funny. Nobody else did. But yeah, the flying monkeys are a huge part of it. And what scares most kids about The Wizard of Oz is the flying monkeys. Because they rip apart the scarecrow. I mean, come on.
I can't remember any of that in the film. I can just remember her, like the tornado, and it changes to colour, and then she just goes along the yellow brick road and to the wizard. That's all I can remember.
Oh no. They go through a lot of turmoil. They go through scary trees that throw rocks, apples at them. It's a dark movie. In the background, when she's walking past the trees that throw apples, there's in the way, way, way back, it looks like a man hanging from a tree, but they say it's not. And then they fall asleep in the poppies, and we have they get sent back out by the wizard to go get her broom, and she sends the flying monkeys out after them and terrifies them. It was actually a scary movie.
I don't think my daughters have seen it either.
What? Oh, you got to do that. You got to do that. That's a classic. It used to come on every year at Christmas time. I don't know why. Like, it's Christmas. Let's watch the monkeys tear the scarecrow apart.
It's the same here.
Really?
Put it on, yeah. Christmas and Easter.
I love it. And here's you guys. Here's a trivia note for you. The length of Dorothy's hair changes 50 times during the movie, and I catch every single one of them because I'm an introvert and I watch those type of things 50 times because it took so long to film, and the original Tin Man got sick. He they were using metals in the paint, and he had a reaction, and it took a long time to film. And so her hairstyle goes shorter and longer because they didn't film in order of the film like they usually don't. So you can see her hair change all over the place. And now you'll never see it the same again. You're welcome.
She had a hard life, didn't she, Judy Garland?
Yeah, she did. Did you guys think that Joy, did you think the Witch and the Wizard of Oz was scary?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was the original scary witch.
I think the flying monkey scared me more. Actually, the haunted forest. I think that's where is that where they meet the Cowardly Lion?
Yes. Yeah, at the end of it, the outside of it, yeah. They're going towards
There's two different
apples,
forests.
right?
They go through one forest where they meet the Cowardly Lion. The forest itself scared me, and then the haunted forest.
Yes.
That's where the scarecrow gets torn apart by the flying monkeys, and they kidnap Dorothy.
Yes.
That spooked me too.
Yeah, it was really violent. It was surprisingly, oddly violent.
On a side note, speaking of the Wizard of Oz, did you hear about how the FBI found her stolen ruby slippers?
No.
There was only so many ruby slippers made for the movie. And one pair was in a museum up in, I believe it was Minnesota or Wisconsin, in the town that Judy Garland was born in.
Okay.
And somebody stole the shoes. And they'd been missing for something like 16 years or whatever. And Josh Gates, who hosts a show on Discovery Channel called Expedition Unknown, he did an investigation of trying to find them. And during this investigation, the FBI picked up a clue and followed through with it. And turns out they found her missing ruby slippers.
You're kidding me.
So there's a guy that runs a museum in like Los Angeles that does movie memorabilia, and they were his shoes on loan to that museum.
Oh.
And they did a follow-up episode where they told him about it, and he broke down crying, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
Leonardo DiCaprio owns a pair of the shoes too.
Really?
Yeah, he has them on loan. I think his pair is on loan in the Smithsonian.
Really?
Yeah. So
who stole them?
They never. I haven't heard them come out and say who stole it, but when Josh was there with his show and they were going over the evidence, it looked like it was an inside job.
Oh.
Like somebody knew how to get to the shoes.
It's not like you can sell those without anybody noticing.
Right. They're very anyone who's in the business of Hollywood memorabilia, if you were to walk up with those pairs of shoes and they're number one in terms like those memorabilia. They're worth millions of dollars, and that's no joke.
Really?
So if someone wants to walk up to you with those, that person should not be in a hold of those unless, of course, they were the rightful owners.
Right.
So, yeah. Whoever stole them and hid them for however many years, I don't know how you hide them. I don't know how you not try to sell them, honestly, I would just try to sell them if I had stolen them, but
right.
It is what it is. So.
Huh.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, Rob. Is that it? Is there any more you want to talk about?
That's it, I think, now. That's
all right.
That's about all of them.
Does anybody have any comments that they want to make about witches? What movies with witches they like?
Did you guys talk about Angelica Houston's movie, The Witches?
Oh, the one where Jack Nicholson was the devil?
No. Her movie's The Witches. It's where they
make the kid a rat or something?
Witch clan. Yeah, like they turn kids into mice and stuff, and he, the main kid who's turned into a mouse, actually poisons the soup of all the witches and turns them into mice.
Yeah,
I remember that movie freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah, that was a good one. I love Angelica Houston.
Yeah,
and like they take their wigs off and they take their prosthetic noses off, and they would all look like these grotesque, hideous witch-like creatures. And I thought it was one of the cooler representations of a witch in Hollywood.
Yeah, that was a good one. As a matter of fact, I think that was on our original list, Rob.
Yeah, I think we took it off, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Because neither one of us could remember what it was. But that was it. Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you for adding that, Jory.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going to look in the comments really fast.
Kendra would like me to throw out the Olsen twins movie, Double Toil and Trouble. I know Madison loved that movie.
Yes, she did. Thank you, Kendra. That is Joy's wife. Is that why she sent me a message? Is that what it is?
I didn't know she sent you a message.
She sent me a message. Hold on.
She said,
"Oh,
is
that
it's
it?
The Ruby Slippers."
Oh, it's the Ruby Slippers. Oh yeah, neat. Yeah, Madison loved that movie with the Olsen twins.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about, let's see, I have yet to see Gone with the Wind. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's really good. It's you have to understand that the time that when they filmed it is not today, so you're gonna see things and be like, oh, that's offensive, but it was filmed a long time ago.
I've not seen it either.
You haven't seen Gone with the Wind?
No.
The fact that Scarlett did not take Rhett Butler just infuriates me to this day.
Okay.
There you go. That's all I'm gonna say. Mad Meerkat said, "Drag Me to Hell." That was one scary old lady. Yeah, Rob liked that movie. No, Victor, I have not seen The Phantom of the Opera from 1925. I've seen stills of it. Yes?
Thought you were in it, Tracy.
Oh, shit. Well, thank you.
Get me on back somehow.
Shall we talk about your snake? I'm never going to forget that. I'm never going to let that one go. I can't. I can't with that. Anyway, don't get me on it. Let's see. You should see Gone with the Wind, you guys. That's a classic that everybody should see. The Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy was a good movie. I liked it. Anyway, so if you guys have questions or other witches you want to tell us about, feel free to do that. I'm going to say this. I said it at the beginning, but I'm going to say it again now. We're going to have the 31 Days of Halloween coming up, where there will be a video every single day. I just interviewed Diabolical Witness. Jory and I did last night. And I think you guys are really going to like that. I'm going to have a special guest podcast with my daughter, Madison. And we are going to tell you all about some of the most prolific, scariest serial killers you've never heard of. And it's amazing how many people kill a lot of people, but for some fluke, they don't become as well known as some other ones. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to do our regular podcast, of course. Jory and I are going to do a Halloween history podcast that's going to have some liquid spirits. Rob's going to be here too. He's going to be the designated person to make sure we get back into our houses safely from the podcast. And if we're lucky, we're going to have a video of Rob fighting a snake. I'm going to... Yes?
I just want to throw out there, too, it kind of wasn't a part of the original 31 Nights of Halloween theme, but Diabolical Witness is coming down here to investigate the domes with me at the beginning of October, and I'm sure we'll have a follow-up video for that set as well.
Yes, I've already spoken to him about speaking to him after you guys do your ghost hunt in Casa Grande. So yes, Diabolical Witness is going to go meet with Jory to investigate Casa Grande domes, and we'll be able to put that up in the 31 Days of Halloween, which is going to be exciting. I am going to read excerpts from very famous, long-dead authors, such as Edgar Allan Poe and Bram Stoker and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm going to read an excerpt from I have my top two favorite books. One of them is The Hound of the Baskervilles. And I'm going to read an excerpt from the Hound of the Baskervilles. And hopefully it will get you guys in the mood to read it yourself or, have Audible read it to you. But it is an excellent, scary, scary movie or book. And so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to have stories written, of course. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've already started getting ready and putting things in the queue for October, so I already know what's going up, and I think you guys are going to love it. I'm loving it already, doing it. Rob and I both have groups on Facebook, and if moderator Maya will put the link to our groups up, that would be awesome. And Victor, the Light family would love to go to Canada. I'll let you know if we ever do. Yes, Mad Meerkat. Yes, vampires. Yum yum. I wrote a story about a vampire and put that up in the queue for October already. So we're gonna have all that stuff, everything that goes bump in the night, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys have suggestions on things you would like for that month, that would be awesome too. And if you are listening to this on my channel after the podcast and you are not subscribed, please do. Please, everybody here, if you haven't already, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. It helps my page to be seen. The way I do it when I go to someone's page is I just automatically click the like button before I even push the play button. You can always unclick it, which I rarely do because they put the time and energy into their content and I just leave it there. If you want to be notified of my content when it goes up, which it's going to be a lot in October, but in general, it's not going to be like 3 times a day or anything. I don't bug you to death. Go ahead and click that bell. And if you would like to support this channel and my work, please consider becoming a patron of Patreon. And Mad Meerkat is my latest Patreon member. Thank you. And something you should know is that you do not have to pay through PayPal. You can use your debit card or a credit card. I know some people have trouble with PayPal. I have had trouble with PayPal. Rob has had trouble with PayPal. And my bank actually blocks PayPal. So you can use a credit card or debit card and choose to do it that way if you'd ever consider doing that. So just in case you're worried about using a PayPal thing, you don't have to. And next week, it'll be Jory and I doing a podcast. I think we're going to do the dark side of Disney.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. There's some weird stuff about Disney. And if that is all, Rob, do you have anything you'd like to say? How's that snake going?
Doing fine, thank you.
Okay.
Never going to live this down, ever.
No, you can't, because that was so funny and so out of nowhere. I really do love you for that. Mad Meerkat says, have you ever read Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Sussex Vampire? I have not. Is it good? Because I love The Hound of the Baskervilles. And if it's scary, then I would like to. Yes. Props to Jeremy for being my yes.
Do you like The Hound of the Baskervilles?
I love The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you did or not.
Yeah. I might not have mentioned it. Thank you to Rob for being my guest host. Thank you to Jory for stepping up and helping us learn about Scooby-Doo. And for moderator Maya for all of her moderating and for coming on. Thank you. And for producer Jeremy, thank you for producing and putting up all those pictures I bombard you with. And okay, Mad Meerkat, I will get it. I will read that. I will have it read to me by Audible. So if there's nothing else for anybody to say, then I guess we will say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.